I've been really fortunate to have the opportunity to grow up with everything natural. And I was talking to Nadia from Ukraine just before, and she was saying she vividly remembers as a child going and collecting plants from the wild, and you turn those into remedies to heal your skin or to heal ailments, and that was how I was brought up. So when people say to me, "Are you a scientist?" I go, "Well, no, I'm not a scientist, but I think like one," and I think that that's really how it started. But to sort of move on, because of that interest, I've been a French and English teacher, and then I became a flight attendant for Air New Zealand. Great for my French, terrible for my skin. It was just amazing with the stress of lots of things, not just the travel, but the time zone changes, the air conditioning, many, many things, and I know that anyone who's travelled knows what it's like. You feel as if your face is actually falling off. And so I thought, well, you quickly have to become a skincare connoisseur when you're a flight attendant, and I had always followed the cleanse, tone and moisturise routine, and it just wasn't working because I couldn't find anything natural. I was spending good money after bad looking for the perfect skincare product, and I know that you've all experienced that. And I thought, well, why can't I find something natural? Because all these products are heavy. My skin reacted. I wanted something enriching, but it was just rich. And I couldn't find anything that soaked in, that didn't cost a lot, and actually said what it was going to say. I mean, we've all experienced that. And at that stage, my mother was the president of the Auckland Herb Society. And I used to go to the meetings. It was a really nice thing to do after having been, in this sort of sterile environment. And I was telling them about, it costs so much, it's not natural, and it doesn't actually do what it says. And they said, well, why don't you make your own? You could tailor them to your needs. You know everything there is to know. I mean, look at you, you're just this passionate person about plants. And, wouldn't that be fun? And it was just like a light, that moment that we all want when you go, aha, I've got it, I really want to do this. And so I just stepped to starting to make these products in my kitchen. And so when people say, where are they made? Well, they're not made in my kitchen anymore, but they are still made in Auckland. So that was the beginning. And then I met Paul Westlake, my husband, and I promised him I wouldn't embarrass him about how he used to come in and, very late at night, and after working very long hours, and he'd just be absolutely amazed at me because I'd be sterilised the kitchen, whipping up these products and cutting labels out. And he was just aghast, and that was really how it started. So, one thing led to another, and I was over saying, have you seen this? And I had crew that were buying the products. We started making them. I called them Cotties creams, and I used to sell them to the crew members, and I'd come home with an empty bag and a wallet full of cash. I'd reinvest the money, and that led to me sort of thinking, well, maybe I could do something with this. Having this sort of refugee background, and my parents having taught me that I could do anything, was a really inspiring thing to do. And I also thought, well, what have I got to lose? I was so passionate about it, and I really believed that if I really wanted these products, and all the crew did, then other people would too. Paul, whose background is advertising, he thought it was a really great idea too, and we created Evolu.
Right, and so how long ago was that?
That would be, we launched it a month before our daughter was born, and that was 13 years ago. You know how when you have a baby, you kind of do everything.
But obviously you pulled off well though.
Well, yeah. But that's quite some time ago, and I think it's interesting for people to people say, well, I haven't even heard of Evolu, and we're going, well, we've been around, but we've been working really methodically, and because we're a small team, and my amazing team, you've met them wearing beautiful Evolu t-shirts. You can only do so much, and it's been frustrating for us because we've of course wanted it to happen overnight. But now we're in Singapore, we're going to be going into Malaysia, we're in Chile, and of course we're here.
It's an amazing feat and a great story. So could you please tell us now about the 3 new Ike products? What inspired you to create them?
Well, I've always been into simplicity, and for those of you who use Evolu, you know there's only one cleanser and there's one facial exfoliator, and there are different products for your different skin types, but it doesn't need to be complicated. We've had an eye gel for a very, very long time, and over the years, when we're looking at product development, we always ask our customers what's missing from the range. And we've just had this constant request for an eye cream. But then we had more than that. We had, well, you know, we went back and said, well, if we do an eye cream, well, what would happen to the eye gel? Oh, well, we want the eye gel too. And then, well, you know, but can you give us something just for lines and wrinkles as well? So we ended up creating 3, and that was how it started. And then we have called it the 3D range because one of them is all about decreasing, and another one is about de-stressing, which is the eye gel, and then the other one is a lightening day product, so we call that Daylight, so it makes it nice and easy for you too.
I think the great thing about the products, I've actually been using all 3 at once, and that's, you know, my next question to Cotty is that can you have more than one eye cream product?
Well, until I created this, I probably would have said no. But you can, because for those of you who've got really sensitive skin, the eye area is a particularly sensitive area. There's nothing underneath the skin. And we all know what it's like. Even so many of us have hay fever and eczema and so on. So we have to have something for people with sensitive skins, particularly in New Zealand. So that's the de-stress one, which is the gel. Then it turned out that our beauty therapists are doing Evolu treatments, and what they're doing, which makes so much sense, is they're recommending that you can actually use that as your wake-up call for the morning and really help your eyes because it's so cooling. So you could use that, and then if you've got completely sensitive skin, I would say just use the eye gel. A good way to test for allergies is to try the product on the inside of your arm, or you can just try right on the side and see how that goes. So then you could use the Daylight daytime product, and then you would use the eye and lip line serum at night.